What on guys, Commander, and welcome to a video on Halo 5, but I'm talking about Halo Infinite. I haven't done this in a while. I've been intending to do this for like such a long time. Ever since the second trailer for Halo Infinite came out, I just haven't got around to it. But now we've gotten into it. So now you've probably seen from the title, but basically what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm basically going to be going over what I want to see from Halo Infinite. Now, there will be another video at some point when I can get around to doing it of things I don't want to see in Halo Infinite, but I'll do it in two separate videos because I think this is going to go on for quite a long time. So, the first thing is I want to start off with that I want to see in Halo Infinite is the full classic art style. Now, although we have seen that the Master Chief is in his classic art style from Halo 2 and 3, we still haven't seen anything major to suggest that the whole game is going to be using that classic art style that we see in Halo 1 through 3. If they're going to tease us with showing us the Chief in Classic, I think the least they can do is go full force at it and give us that 100% Classic. And when I say 100% Classic, I don't mean exactly as it is from 1 to 3, because they need to give it like their own spin on it to make it look different, because otherwise you're going to have people wanting comparisons and it's going to make people think, oh no, this isn't as good because the originals are always so better. But so it does need to be different, because like for example Halo 2 Anniversary, it's still resembling the classic art style, but it's different, it's done in their way. Or Halo Wars 2 for example, it's still very much the original classic art style, but it is very much in their own right. So they haven't completely copied it, they've got the art style and then edited it to make it their own. That's how I wish it wanted to be, not just like I don't know why, but I'm very scared that we're going to get to it, only certain things in Halo Infinite are going to be classic. So let's say the Master Chief, maybe the Arbiter if we're lucky. The environment's probably going to be classic. The Flood's probably going to be classic because we never actually saw them properly in the story mode in Halo 4 and 5. We did see it in online because they had infection in Halo 4, but it wasn't very good. So probably bring that back to classic. But for some reason, I don't know why, I just have very weird suspicion that it's not going to be as classic as people think it is. So I really hope that they make it like as classic as they possibly can. Every single thing that they can possibly fit into the classic art style. Again, very much like Halo 2 Anniversary or Halo Wars 2. Put it in that type of art style. I think there'll be many people, including me, they'll be very satisfied with that. The second thing is an open world aspect. Now, this is something I've been wanting from Halo ever since I started to play it, which was shortly after Halo 4 came out in 2012, I think. Now, when I was playing it, I was wondering, and this was after, so I played Halo 4, then I bought ODST, then I started playing all the other games as well. But I started wondering what this game would look like in an open world sense, so like Watch Dogs 2 or GTA 5 or something like that. Excuse me. But like GTA 5 or Watch Dogs 2 or something along, or Watch Dogs or something like open world where you can go around and do your own thing and then go to your missions as you need to, or like Red Dead Redemption. But I wasn't sure how this was going to work and how it would have played out, because GTA 5 and, let's say GTA 5 for example, and Halo are two very completely different games. Like, in the way that they play out, the storylines is done differently. GTA is not a very linear story, whereas Halo is very a linear story. So it wouldn't. I was also thinking, well, it would be nice, but it wouldn't have ever worked, because there's a lot of things in Halo that don't necessarily work well in that area. But then Destiny 2, then the first Destiny came out in 2014. And that is what made me realise this is what we needed from Halo. This is the open worldness that I wanted. Not exactly the same, obviously, because there's parts of Halo, much like GTA, that require a linear story that won't work in a Destiny-style fashion, because Destiny is a full, like, online type game where, like, it's not very linear. You can do it as you please. But give us the ability to free roam around places in Halo Infinite. So an example of how this could work would be very much like the UNSC could be used as the hub area, which you can use as your safe place to change your loadouts or get your missions or what have you. Then you can have locations such as Zeta Halo, which is the Halo that's been featured in Halo Infinite. San Helios, which is the homeworld of the elites, which we visited in Halo 5, which could be a very nice place to explore and get missions off of. And maybe even Reach, if they push it, maybe. Now, the only thing that this doesn't work well is because we don't know how many different locations we're going to see in Halo Infinite. Now, if it's like Halo if it is like Halo 5, there's not enough different planets that we can go to that would require us, that would make it like worthwhile making it an open world exploration like game. But if you can 3D, you know, if you can make it so you can 3D explore and roam around like Zeta Halos, like Helos and whatever other planets, they could have, it'd be a perfect opportunity for them to add DLC, paid for or not, but where you could have planets like Earth, or even have like a exploration place for a Covenant Dreadnought. You know, that would be, if they could have a Covenant Dreadnought, that you could just go around and explore, fight the Covenant inside this massive ship or just on your own. You know, explore things, take over the command center, blow up the engines and stuff like that. And consider this will still be in single player, mind you, so you can do whatever you wish with it. But by having stuff like that, it would make it so much better, and I would be playing it for a lot longer. The thing is with Halo at the moment, let's say Halo 5, which is the first Halo that I got, which I was properly, after I got properly invested in Halo. Halo 5, I played through the campaign, then I got into online, but once I got bored of online, there wasn't anything keeping me from playing that game anymore. Now, if it was very much like Destiny 2, let's say, which in my opinion is a very good game. It has its flaws, which I'll talk about briefly like a little bit later on, but Destiny is very much the type of game where once you complete the campaign, you can quite easily just go around and make up your own stories, like go into a cave, fight the Red Legion, or fight the Fallen, or what have you. You know, you can make up your own stories because it's such an open world and expansive sandbox game. You know, if Halo could do this, people would be playing it for ages and ages, especially because this is the last one apparently in the Halo universe. As far as the main master story is concerned, whether they make spin-offs or not, I don't know, but if they make it like a Destiny type title, the amount of DLC they could pump out for it, adding new worlds, adding new locations, adding new vehicles and what have you, it would make people play it for years on end. And it would be so good if it had that, you know, if it had that like mechanic to it. And even so, like, this would work well for online as well. It would play out the same way as Destiny 1 and 2 does, where you have your open world environment to explore, then you team up with other players to fight the Covenant or Prometheus or whatever, the Flood, you know, on various different planets. You know, or you could jump into a game of team deathmatch by going to, let's say, the UNSC Infinity, which again be your hub world to change your loadouts and your armor customization and stuff like that, where you could then team up and go into matchmaking, like team deathmatch or Slayer or you know, SWAT or something like that, where you could then go into proper matchmaking, where the Infinity would be your hub world. I think if they did that, the possibilities of using this mechanic would be endless. They could do so much with it. The more they think about it, you know, you could have a DLC where they add a map which is the Ark, you know, from Halo 3. We've seen it in Halo Wars 2, so we know it's very much still existent after Halo 5 Guardians. You know, the possibilities of things they could do with this is absolutely ridiculously, like, endless. You know, they could add Earth, which would be like, it would be like a DLC which doesn't follow the linear timeline for Halo Infinite, but you would jump back and fight on Earth during the Human Covenant War, during Halo 2, where the Covenant had just invaded Earth at the start of Halo 2. Just doing stuff like that would be so good in it. I just think there's so much they could do with this game. You know, it's called Infinite. Now, we don't know why it's called Infinite. Whether it is going to be as infinite as I'm talking now with the, you know, as I'm talking now with the open world aspect to it. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's centered around the Infinity, where you got to try and find the Infinity. Because after Halo 5, it sort of jumped into slip space and it would just consistently jumping. Maybe you were trying to find the Infinity and take down Cortana. We don't know. But if they can make it so it is very much like an open world story like it is in Destiny 1 and 2, I think they could do so much with this game. You know, the possibilities, again, are absolutely endless. The next point I want to make is the Chief and the Arbiter. Now, this is something I wanted to see in Halo 5, and when they left it on that cliffhanger, they left it on the cliffhanger without the Arbiter and the Chief at least even acknowledging each other. It really irritated me, because I wanted to see that so badly, especially after Halo 3's ending, where all they do is just give a simple nod to each other. And when they part ways, they don't see each other for God knows how many years, you know. I don't even know, I think it's like 7 years between the time of Halo 3 and the end of Halo 5. I wish they would have just had, like, a simple greeting, even if it's just like a simple nod at each other, you know, just to symbolise what it would, just a little bit of symbolism between where they saw each other last in Halo 3 and the end of Halo 5. Just that little bit of symbolism. Now, I know why they did it, and it was because Halsey meant more to Chief than the Arbiter did, which is why they had Halsey speak the last line saying it took you long enough. But there's no reason why at the end scene where the Chief was walking off the Pelican, he could just give a nod to the Arbiter, and Arbiter would give a nod back. There's no reason why they couldn't do it, you know. I wouldn't even want necessarily dialogue, you know. We already saw during the battle for Sanion, the mission battle for Sanion, the Arbiter said to Spartan Locke, when you see the Chief, give him my greetings. You know, that to me was really, I love that. That is the one line from the Arbiter in that game that I absolutely love, because it's acknowledging that friendship between the Chief and the Arbiter that we saw in Halo 3. But but I just wish there was something simple, you know, in the end of Halo 5. But I really wish that they will do something in Halo Infinite with the Arbiter and Master Chief, maybe fighting side by side. You know, I saw a picture. This is on Steam Workshop because I was faffing about with different models for Gary's mod. I'll see if I can find it. I'll post a picture on screen now of it. If I can't, then it's because I couldn't find it. But it's a picture of the Arbiter and the Master Chief back to back against, with like the UNSC force, like Pelicans and Warthogs and that behind them just fighting. If we could see that, you know, I looked at that and I thought, that is what I want to see in Halo Infinite. I want to see, you know, not for back-to-back fighting, but like a recall back to Halo 3, you know, where they are fighting together. You know, I really wish they would do that. And and I know we do know what does happen to them after Halo 5, because in a novelization, it was a novelization about Spartan Buck, I think it was. And it's literally only a couple paragraphs, but it basically explains that they did catch up after the events of Halo 5, and the Arbiter and the Master Chief, and then they parted ways because they needed to go off and deal with Cortana. But the Arbiter was left on San Helios to finish off clearing up the Covenant remnants. Now, because the Covenant, for the most part, are no more on San Helios and in the rest of the galaxy, I do wonder if the Arbiter and the rest of the Souls of San Helios are going to team up with the UNSC and the humans to fight Cortana, because the Cortana is as much of a threat to the Arbiter and the Souls of San Helios as she is to the UNSC. But so I do hope we do get to see him again in Halo Infinite. Maybe not a massive role as he's played in Halo 3, because again, this is the Master Chief story. But just like featuring the Arbiter just on the side, just helping to fight, you know, bringing the Souls of San Helios in. Again, a callback to Halo 3, where the Elites and the Arbiter were fighting alongside the UNSC and the Master Chief to bring down the Covenant and the Prophet of Truth before he fired the rings. That mission, the Covenant, in Halo 3 was one of my favourites in all of Halo, just because of how good it is to see the entire two sides that were originally like willing to kill each other come together to face a common enemy. You know, it's so good, and I really wish there's going to be something like that in Halo Infinite. Again, nothing massive, nothing major, but just something that will maybe even just like a little reference. But I really hope they do come together and fight again in Halo Infinite. Now, something else that I want to bring up. Now, this is something that I've been thinking about for a while, because I've seen this. This came to me just after Halo. I saw the legendary ending of Halo 5. Now, it was something that I was worried about after I saw that scene. And the scene, as you know, is a Halo ring floating around in space in orbit above a planet. Now, however, when I saw that, I was thinking. At first, I thought, oh yes, the Flood are coming back. You know, we're gonna get to fight the Flood again. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to think, how many different hostile AI and hostile factions are we going to get in this game? Because, you know, I said earlier, it's Destiny 2, in my opinion, is a really, really good game. Much better than Destiny 1. And it's just really fun. Like, you can have hours and hours of fun on it. But there's too many different AI and AI factions. For example, you've got the Fallen, the Hive, the Taken, the Red Legion, the Vex, and many others. And sometimes, yes, there's a large variety of planets, and yes, each different faction has their own home planet that they're, like, very prominent in. But sometimes you can find 3 or 4 different factions on a planet at the same time. They're actually fighting each other. You know, it's too many, because it's too many, like, AI factions fighting each other, because it breaks the, immersion, because you literally just mow them down, because they're not focused on you, they're focused on fighting each other, you know. It's really, like, off-putting because of how, like, because of how distracting it is with having so many different hostile AIs. Now, I'm not saying that Halo has this issue at the moment, because it doesn't. As of Halo 5, the only hostile factions that you can find are the Covenant and the Prometheans. But in Halo Infinite, we're most likely going to get the Flood back, and there are also rumours of another enemy faction joining the party as well. Now, I know that is only 4, and it's nothing in comparison with Destiny 2, but if this game is not open world like I mentioned before, and it is a very linear story, having 4 different factions is going to be way too much. It's going to get really confusing, especially for the story, you know. Having 2 hostile AIs, even back in the original trilogy of Halo 1 to 3, you had the Covenant, which are the main threat, and then you had the Flood. It's not confusing. You know, you fight the Covenant, you fight the Flood. You know the Covenant's threat, you know the Flood's danger and whatnot. You know, you can tell the story between the difference of them. But if you've got, like, the Prometheans, the Covenant, the Flood, this new AI faction that we're going to have, especially if the story's not going to be too long, which again we don't know, but it's just going to become a massive pain. You know, we don't know. It's the not knowing, I think, but how long. If the story is a very long story and it's going to take like 60 hours to complete, fair enough, because there's enough time to flourish out these enemy AIs, AI factions, and tell their stories and tell us how to defeat them and stuff like that. But if it's going to be the same length as Halo 5, it's not enough. So there's not enough hours of story to compensate for having 4 different, like, AI factions. Again, if it was an open world game like Destiny 2 is, it'd be absolutely fine, because you can do it bit by bit, and each planet would have its own separate, like, faction. Like the Halo Ring will have the Flood on it, and maybe the Covenant. San Helios would have the Covenant on it because of the Covenant remnants that would probably be left after Halo 5. The Infinity would just be the UNSC, and you could have the Prometheans be, like, dotted about on each of these different planets, because Cortana's got such a grip on the galaxy, and then have another planet, like, separately, which is a brand new planet we've never seen before, for this new AI faction that that's apparently coming into Halo Infinite. That would work if it's an open world game, but if it's not, if it's a very linear game, it's not going to work, and I really don't want it to be like that if we are going to get those 4 factions. So anyway, that's what we have time for in this video here. That is just I just scripted this up like half an hour before I started recording this video, just like brainstorming a bit. But that is what I hope for Halo Infinite. Now, I will do another video in some point in the future for the features that I don't want to see in Halo Infinite. It's not going to be a massive list, it's just going to be like little things that I didn't like in Halo 4 and 5 that I don't want in Halo Infinite. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button for more awesome gaming content. I shall see you all later. Bye.